So this is the testimonial video. Um, Daniel gonna share his journey. Before he does that, I will show the audience what Daniel used to look like. And so this is where he was, and then we rebuilt his hairline. And this is a year later. You can see how stunning he looks with lower hairline. It just brought back his handsome look. And eyebrows and up, eyebrows and up. Right hand side, right hand side, left hand side, left hand side. You see how excellent density, very natural, very dense. Top view, top view. So this way he was. All right, Daniel. So why don't you start? Tell me, and the viewer, how your journey started.
Well, I know I've been very insecure about my hairline since I was in my early 20s. And I know a lot of men out there are super insecure about the hairline every day. Like when you look in the mirror, it's just something that it's almost like haunting you on a daily basis. Lose a lot of hours of sleep. Every photo that's being taken of you, you're overanalyzing, just obsessing. So that's really how it started. Like, I was going through, some slow hair loss. I actually met with you in my early 20s, and you're like, "Hey, slow your horses. Like, you're not ready for a transplant." But I was already feeling that insecurity at a very young age, and it was super painful to go through that. Yeah.
I don't just jump in to do surgery, and most patients will appreciate it. That if when the time comes, then we will do it. But when you're not there, you want the surgeon to tell you not to. And that's what's really separate my work. And a lot of clinics, they hire a consultant, and their job is to sign you up and make number. But as a surgeon and a doctor, if they do consultation with you, the doctor will tell you if you're a candidate or not, and if you are when the time is right or not to as well. Okay, start with that, and then how did you find my clinic?
Yeah.
And then your research and all that stuff as well.
Yeah, so I did a ton of research. I was looking into Bosley. I was looking into some other surgeons in the Bay Area. I was even looking at surgeons in New York City, like I think like Dr. Bernstein, who's super famous and on the East Coast. But no one had quite the amount of proof of like a very thick, dense hairline. And so when I was doing my research, I noticed that your procedures were yielding some very high density results with your patients, and it was consistent. Like there was hundreds of patients I was able to look at and be like, wow, like is this even real? This is incredible. And so
it seemed almost unreal, huh?
That's what really drew me, like in full transparency, and honestly, I'm not trying to blow smoke here, but like that's what drew me to your clinic was like the density. Like I couldn't believe like how high of a density the results were for your patients, and the reviews were also really good. So that's how I found you, and that's why I picked this clinic over the long term.
And you're the living proof now. And you experience the density, So a lot of patient and the viewer want to get a glimpse of what surgery they like, because they're not there in the operating room. So maybe you can start from the beginning, around when we got to the clinic and all that stuff, and the recovery too.
So it's an investment at the end of the day, not just financially, but I think the bigger investment is really the time that you're putting into making sure that you get the highest result, because it's a huge deal. Like this was, for me, it was like over a decade in the making, right? So I wanted to make sure that I was able to maximize the results at all costs from a time perspective. On the day of surgery, it was really smooth. It's very easy. I remember, taking some prescriptions, and before you know it, like after, I don't know, a few hours, I was eating lunch, and then after that, I was already done the procedure. So the procedure was very smooth. It was very easy. That was a great experience. I'd say the recovery time after the procedure was it's a good week of like adjustment. So I highly recommend you take a week off from work. I think a lot of people, opt to go to work like a few days later, but again, to maximize the result, like you really want to take that time to just be at home and make sure you're really taking care of every single follicle that's been transplanted. Trust me, it's worth it. I opted for the FUT strip, so there's definitely a little bit of pain associated with that for the first couple of weeks, but you took very good care of me from a pain medication standpoint. Like it was like the perfect dosage, the right amount, so I didn't feel like I was, you know, super drugged up, but I also didn't feel too much pain while I was in the healing process. Overall, like I said, it's a big investment. It's gonna take some time, not only to recover from the procedure, but more importantly to see the result. I started to get very anxious, I'd say like 3-ish months in, when you start to see everything kind of falling out, and it's like, wait a minute, like what's going on? I'm a researcher though and a planner when it comes to these things, so I had a very good idea and expectation of what was to come. This is definitely one of those things, like patience is a virtue. You gotta be super patient all the way through even the 12 months. Like I'm still seeing results coming in, like the density is actually getting stronger, and this will happen through 18 months. So
up to 18 months,
even in, I think, month 10, I was texting you, I was like, hey, you know, the right side is actually seeming a little bit lighter than the left. And you're like, give it a little bit more time. Like maybe that's 90% versus 98%. But even like from month 11 to month 12, I saw, like, at least for me, huge differences. Because remember, like, I'm obsessing over the hairline since I was in my early 20s, and I gotta say, especially looking at the before and after pictures, very, very pleased with the result.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's I remember even the 3rd month, 4th month, every so often you check in and text me and stuff, and it is patience is a virtue, because the growth rate will not be at the same rate everywhere else. Sometimes it depends on the blood supply underneath your body, because we dense pack on both sides equally, right?
Yeah.
But somehow on one side maybe the better blood supply may grow faster. Again, we don't know, I'll be honest with you. Sometimes some follicle will enter the growth phase faster, and while the right hand side for you maybe enter the growth phase slower. But they do catch up though, and that's the key. And I will always be there, and you, my patient, if afterward they have my personal cell printed on the post-op, and you know, I'll be on call for my patient, not just one day or 1 week later, even many months later. If I don't answer you right away, if you text me, you know, I will text back right as whenever I have a chance.
Yeah, you were super responsive anytime I texted. Even, you know, if you missed it, you have hundreds, if not thousands, of patients that have your number that are probably texting you while you're around. I'm sure your wife loves that. But yeah, no, that's something I really appreciated as well.
The aftercare is important, right, Daniel? Yeah, and so taking a week off is really good, because not sometimes when you wear a hat too early or those stuff and too tight and they move, it actually can affect the growth rate, because it can damage the follicle. Now, if you manage to work at home remotely, even better. You're not bedridden. You just don't want to see people. You don't want to wear anything. You just follow my instruction, and you do have a follow up with my clinic. You know, like a day after surgery. For hair wash, and we'll go over all that. And then within 2 weeks, suture removal, if you recall, right? Suture removal is a lot more pleasant, because we're not cutting you open, we're just cutting out the stitches.
It's smooth.
Yeah. And I'm glad you brought up the idea that you chose the FUT. Now, you know, I do perform both FUE and FUT, and you see my result. You can't really tell much of a difference in terms of FUE and FUT when you walk down the street. However, and the reality is they both have the pro and con. There's no one technique are perfect, right? Daniel here opt for the FUT. The reason is it grows 10% more dense than the FUE. He's into density, and that's not wrong. It's just You know, it's a choice you make, right? And it's okay to have a linear scar on the back, and it's minimal, right? And no one
Minimal.
really see it.
Yeah.
And so, you know, some patients are not the type who wear the head shave in the back ball, so then it's okay for you to have a linear scar as an, you know, if you want to go with the FUT to get a better density. And it is a little bit cheaper than the FUE because there's less labor on the surgeon. Now, and it's not wrong to choose the FUE as well, and I perform both FUE and FUT. The FUE, the benefit is it leaves you tiny dots of scar and you can wear your head shave in the back and no one see anything. Only if you're the type who like to wear the head shave, right?
Right.
And the other point you did bring up, the FUT is a little bit more painful than FUE. And again, it's not extremely more painful. So it's a little bit more. He's being honest with that. But again, it's not
But a lot cheaper too.
yeah, way cheaper. So it's a pro and con for that one. The FUE costs more. There's a lot more shaving in the FUE. In the back, completely shaved. And yeah, they both have excellent growth rate, but the FUE will always have around average 5 to 10% less dense. Even my FUE, even though less dense than my FUT, it still grow better, more dense than most clinic that does FUE or FUT. So that's the important factors. And so he's at 13 months right now, and around another, believe it or not, around up to 18 months, he even have more density. His right hand side has caught up with the left hand side, although it's not equal, but it's getting there. Okay. And eventually it will grow there. And I personally think he has around at least 98 or 99% growth rate with the left hand side, and the right hand side it range up to 92 to 95%. So it's still great growth, but a little bit more patient. And we'll go from there.
It looks good.
Yeah.
I'm happy with it.
And then so that's important. So how's hair loss affected you mentally and physically and all stuff? And share your experience while traveling and all that stuff.
Like I said, it was my obsessive insecurity that I had since my early 20s, and not only is it a game changer, it's a life changer to get this procedure. I knew that going in, and I'll say, like, just even last night I was looking in the mirror, like after taking a shower, or now every time after I take a shower when my hair's wet, and just seeing like, wow, I have like a great hairline. It's a game changer for me. I feel a lot more confident when I look in the mirror. I don't have this insecurity that's haunting me every day. It's so funny. It's like, even if I look super tired, like I'm all jet lagged right now, but when I look at the pictures, I'm like, yeah, but that hairline, it's looking good. It's looking really good. So no, it's like for those of you, like, a lot of men will just shave their head, right? They'll just say, you know what, like, I don't care that much about the hairline going back. It's just nature's course. But for men like myself who really do care about their hairline and having like a dense full head of hair, this is super worth the investment. There's nothing better than this type of procedure. It's a permanent solution. And yeah, I'm just super happy that I was able to be patient, but meet with Dr. Deep at a younger age and take my time and get this, get this done. Can't believe it's already been over a year since the procedure.
So when I first saw you, you were in your 20, right? When did you do it? Around 30?
When did we, so 34.
How old are you right now? 34,
now I'm 35.
Right? So I have patients who will follow up.
Do I look 30 now?
You definitely look like you're 20. But again, I have patients who will follow me once a year, once every couple of years. When the time comes, I will tell them. But did anybody notice you have surgery? Did anybody know? See, and that's the key, right?
But I tell people.
Yeah.
Like, I'm actually, that's why, face on the camera. I met people in Japan, like, especially if I meet a guy who's receding, who's clearly insecure, or makes a comment, it's like, hey, well, I got a transplant. Actually, it's one of the best decisions I could have made for myself. So
but choosing the right surgeon is important. Do your thorough research, and you want to be able to see a lot of before and after, not just reading about the reputation as well, whether it's good or not, but you want to see a lot of before and after to trust that, hey, this is legit. And if you watch my video on my YouTube channel, I've been posting for more than a decade. And you subscribe it, every Friday we upload new video.
Yeah.
And the consistency that really sold to Daniel, because he say every Friday pop up, there's always new video, and most of the patient have phenomenal result, and not just looking natural, but it's very dense, right? And for Daniel, the density is important, but the naturalness is important, because you don't want a weird looking hairline. You don't want to walk down the street, people seeing you and say, dude, did you have a surgery done? You don't want that feeling insecure, right? And that's what separates a really great surgeon of a hair transplant versus some clinic that's cheap price.
Right.
If you chase price and go cheap, that's when you get yourself in trouble, right? And if you read online, there's people who go to Turkey and then other country, and also they die on the table too. So be careful with that. Even in other states, United States, because some of the clinic, there's no doctor around to operate.
Right.
Yeah, and 100% by technician. Here, I'm personally involved, and I'm the one who really designed the hairline, because you cannot have technician design the hairline. They can ruin a person's life, really. And of course, operation part and those stuff too. There are a part where my staff help me to do surgery. So together as a team, we will produce the best result. So thank you, Daniel, again, to share your personal journey. And hopefully that in Daniel's journey will help enlighten and encourage you guys to be brave enough to step forward and to really do the surgery, because it's rewarding. And Daniel now is on the other side, instead of watching all my video, and now he's a living proof that the density is what you see online, what you saw before, right? So and stay tuned. Okay, thank you.